What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are reacting to Patrick Theory number 3, the Mental Multiverse. I have no idea what that means. Maybe there's like infinite multiple personalities within Patrick's mind that's like multiversal, like large. Or maybe his mind connects to the multiverse and every other alternate version of Patrick is like connected to him. I mean, it'd be the least craziest thing to ever hear. Okay, maybe it's not the least craziest, but it's something, I guess. But yeah, we're continuing on with part 3, and yeah, this was made by the Theorizer. The link to this video is going to be down in the description below. So if you want to check out the original video, go ahead and look in the description, because the link's going to be right there to see this video. And if you enjoyed this reaction video, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when the video comes out. And yeah, with all this said, if there's any videos you'd like to recommend that I should react to, put it down in the comment section below, and I'll react to it as soon as possible. Now, with this all said, let's get right on to this video, shall we? I'm kind of curious what this means on mental multiverse kind of stuff, because it sounds like like as I mentioned, mental Patrick's mental problem being like a either connected through the multiverse or it feels like the multiverse is inside his freaking head. I guess we're gonna find out in a bit. So again, hope you all enjoy, and let's get right on into this video, shall we? Okay.
Life is but a walking shadow.
What the fuck?
Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and what began as a simple video of mine has since spiraled into arguably my magnum opus. Watch this video immediately. It's part 1. You can view it by clicking or tapping the white rectangular box that appears above right now. Once you've completed it, you also must watch part 2. That can be accessed by clicking the second box that'll appear above or just by searching it up. In summary, what I've done over the course of these past several months is create a massively exaggerated character study of Patrick Star from the Nickelodeon show SpongeBob SquarePants. I have looked at his many outbursts of intellect and the many times he also does dumb things. I have analyzed and, with a virtually stunning amount of evidence, have concluded him to be insane, delusional, and conflicted with a unique kind of multiple personality disorder which merges with his duplicating starfish behavior. You commenters have provided evidence that simply won't stop coming, so I have no choice. I must continue to prove the insane theory which states that Patrick's the deepest character I have ever seen. Let's begin with some really strong evidence, something tens of you mentioned. In the episode entitled Chimps Ahoy, Patrick shows SpongeBob a mirror and tells him that he's invented a parallel universe. SpongeBob tells him it's just a mirror, but then Patrick turns around to find an alternate universe character inside of it. Even in a very recent episode, Patrick's reflection in a window talks to him and convinces him to become a tour guide. For those of you who have watched part 2 of this theory trilogy, you'll know all about them.
Okay, actually, now that I think about it, I never really thought on that one episode, because I think I remember it. They were trying to build something so Sandy could stay in Bikini Bottom, or something like that, and bam. It goes into a more confusing thing, I'm not gonna lie. I got a little lost on that bit. But it led to a case scenario where things got really interesting. Yeah. Like, I didn't even believe that I could get that far deep in, but it did. So, yeah, yeah. But anyway, back to the main point to this whole thing. It's still a surprising thing to even hear about, because it's just kind of crazy. But, yeah, let's see. how far it goes, because that episode was like weird. That I honestly thought it was just SpongeBob just trying to make Patrick feel better. But if it is multiversal stuff, that makes this very interesting.
Mirrors, and Chimps Ahoy marks one of, if not the first episode in which a mirror acts strangely like this. This scene is likely where the coined term alternate universe Patrick comes from. There are actually multiple characters who have an AU version, but as we've seen at this point, Patrick is the only important one. All of this provides one key point of information, that Patrick calls his reflections alternate versions of himself. Not only is that bluntly direct proof that he thinks of himself in multiple versions, but there's something else here that I'll bring up at the end of the video, so until then, on to the next bit of evidence. YouTube channel Fractorated stated that there's a good possibility that the reason Patrick freaks out before his parents arrive in that one episode is because he used to be smart, and he's afraid that after he pulled the plug, his parents won't like him. This makes good sense, but we do know that as a very young child, he was stupid. This was pointed out by YouTube user Piece of Cheese, who linked a clip of Patrick reading a stupid poem when he was younger. Truth be told, as I predicted, Patrick was a dumb child who grew smarter, until his trauma of being too smart led him to pulling the plug. A few more of you pointed out how Patrick was also likely traumatized as a kid, as he was bullied by many. His sister also went missing for some time, further pushing trauma to be a large factor in his final decision. Users Ben P and Adara the Shallot pointed out something that wouldn't appear as much until you watch my theories. In an earlier episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob tries to get Patrick hyped and asks him if he's ready to go crazy, and Patrick responds with, "I'm already hearing voices." So here's canonical proof that he hears voices in his head. This indicates schizophrenia, and possibly, very possibly, the voices being let out could be the others trapped inside, which overlays a whole other level of freaking on top of all of this. Now that's some good, hard evidence. Some more evidence hidden in plain sight was found by Vanessa Venables, who commented that at the 1815 mark in the episode Frozen Face-Off, Sandy announces that they need a scientist, of course referring to herself. But then Patrick cuts right in and sighs, asking them why he has to do everything. Sandy then turns him into a propeller, but right there, Patrick basically just admitted that he is, or at least he thinks he is, a scientist. This is true, we've seen it in Patrick Smartpants. This version of Patrick subliminally knows he's a scientist, but he doesn't really act like it. We have already established a lot more, but before I flood into the true mind blow, I want to show a couple more comments that have good ideas I think we all should ponder upon. Dragonstin Mac commented on Patrick's behavior in the snowball fighting episode. Patrick is incapable of making a snowball, but he manages to construct a snow cube, a snow pyramid, and a snow model of deoxyribonucleic acid, all within a matter of seconds. Physically impossible, I know.
Yeah, but again, this is a cartoon. Could be an imagination thing. But the imagination could come from, like, his smart personalities. I don't know. Something happened during that time in the brain coral. Something important, at the very least. Whatever it could be, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I do know, but something did happen during that time involving the brain coral. Because Patrick, ever since that time, has never been the same. Everything he does, everything he acts and behaves like, it's really, really different than how he normally acts in the earlier seasons. So yeah, something's going on there.
But still interesting enough to include here. Lynchia Rodin commented an interesting theory of their own as well. They proposed that Patrick's many personalities are mimicking the mannerisms and intelligences of others in Bikini Bottom. King
Oh.
Patrick is greedy like Mr. Krabs, Main Patrick is dumb like SpongeBob, hence their friendship compatibility, and Patrick Smartpants is like Sandy in the scientific sense. It's intriguing to think that he may draw from his surroundings, and it's not at all far-fetched. This is a good one to ponder. As highlighted by Cerberus 509, in the new special episode The Legend of Bikini Bottom, something happens at the 333 mark. Patrick tells SpongeBob that the only thing to fear, and then he pauses, forgetting the saying, and then he screams, is yourself, while he holds up, get this, a mirror, which then responds to him, and speaks to SpongeBob for many seconds. This alternate universe Patrick seems much more similar to normal Patrick, implying it's another dumb one. Dozens of you pointed out something that practically confirms my whole theory here. This following clip of Patrick literally embodies everything I've been claiming in my videos up until this point. In the 20th episode of the 9th season, Patrick does the following.
Life is but a walking shadow.
As you can see, he has that sudden snap from idiocy to intelligence. He says a crazy smart statement before once again pausing and flopping onto the ground as if nothing happened. He's referencing Macbeth here, I believe. Quite the scholar Patrick seems to be. Then a lawnmower slices him up, and he proves once again that he can multiply. It's almost like Nickelodeon's handing this one to me on a silver frickin' platter, I swear to God. And now that we've completely updated the evidence, it's time to delve into the mind blowers. The ideas of both my and your creation, which make all too much sense. Some of these are a bit longer, so I'll just flash them up on the screen for a few seconds at a time. We have a comment from Maria Eduarda Fernandez, a comment from Tiberius Ravenwolf, and a comment from Sharon, all which have ideas I could certainly flow with. They all make sense, they all have certain levels of earth-shatteringness to them, and they all fit with what I've been saying. However, there is one massive underlying mystery that I've been setting out to solve since the first video, which I think I might possibly now have hit. With the aid of commenters who have sparked ideas and taking a large step back and looking at the evidence from the most delusional perspective I could dream up, I have something here. It starts with Nern for the Win, who proposed something that literally shattered my reality of the whole situation. It was something I'd always considered, but I didn't even know it. I didn't think it would be as shocking to me as it was, but the idea that each episode is a different personality hit me like a rocket-propelled grenade. Spectator 7...
Okay, that sounds a bit too crazy. You're gonna say that every episode that we have seen Patrick in is not even the same Patrick. It's just basically a different personality that mimics him, but also has this one slight difference to it that just changes everything? Is that what you're gonna tell me? Because I'm not laughing, I'm not amused, and I'm thinking you're a bit more crazy to believe that such a thing is possible. Because such a thing just seems a bit too, what's the word? I guess outrageous. We'll use outrageous since it seems like such a simpler word to use. But yeah, it's such an outrageous claim that it just, I don't know, it just makes it sound hard to believe, basically. And with that said, I don't know, I just can't believe such a thing will happen. We're basically saying, again, that we have to consider that this Patrick is basically is a different Patrick compared to the one from episode 1. Not that metaphorically, not, uh, um, shoot, I was gonna meme. I was actually gonna meme. Not metaphorically, not artillery, or something like. No, Ah, frick, I messed it up. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make a good meme slash joke right there, but it just bit me in the butt. I just forgot it. Yeah. Um, this is so basically what he's saying that all these Patricks are different personalities of Patrick straight up. Man, I even messed that part up. I know I did. I just don't remember how it went. But yeah, apparently that's the case here.
72, MCTNT, and Kent Skates all had the thought that the entire show was happening in Patrick's head, or that he knew it was a show. But the idea that no two Patricks are the same, that's where all of the evidence truthfully leads to. And so now, it's my time to do what I do best. Patrick seems to think his multiple personality disorder is a fractured multiverse. What I mean is, he thinks that each of his personalities is a parallel universe of someone he could have been. All levels of intelligence, all shades of narcissism, all ambitions and rejections, everything. He gives us proof in Chimps Ahoy that he believes this, causing me to question if his anxiety and fears ultimately have mentally killed him. If someone with obsessive-compulsive disorder or schizophrenia or maybe even multiple personas strongly believes something about themselves, it can build up their fears and anxiety and make them a reality. It's the nature of having a mind. So if the conflicted Patrick Star can only interpret his disorder as a mental multiverse, then the entire puzzle that is my theory would click itself together. With my evidentially structural theory, and you guys providing even more evidence, we have finally, with the use of our own insanity, solved the 19-year-old psychotic mystery surrounding Patrick the Starfish. And now, only one flaw is risen from all of this. Not actually a flaw per se, but rather an implication on every other character. Since this show uses comedy over every other writing tool, we've seen mirror SpongeBob and mirrored other characters too. As I said, these are likely just harmless figments of the characters' imaginations, unlike Patrick's, which are the most frequent ones, and the only ones he shares a clear, complex relationship with. But think of it like this. The reason that the television show SpongeBob SquarePants lacks continuity, the reason there's no overarching story, is because each episode, the characters are reset. They are a different personality, or rather, each episode takes place in its own universe. Shockingly enough, this would apply to the majority of children's television shows, and the freaky fact is that it is true. The creators are unintentionally doing it by leaving in continuity errors. It's the way TV shows work. However, it would appear that Patrick just intentionally embodies it. There's one final question I have about all of this, though. If Patrick asexually reproduces, and he does, we now know that, then is he technically immortal? Research has been done into the lifespans of regenerative starfishes, but it's hard to tell. Actually, no it isn't. If you've been following, then you know for a fact that Nickelodeon would write Patrick like this. The unending torment Patrick endures is inflicted onto everybody else through his stupidity, forever. So we've done Plankton, we've done 3 videos on Patrick, now it's time to move on to SpongeBob's mentality. Perhaps his overactive niceness is because he's intentionally dropping to Patrick's level so that Patrick has a friend. Or better, maybe he's been driven to the point of ignorant bliss due to the way Patrick has been acting. Squidward's insanity has been caused by Patrick as well. Squidward's on his way to becoming like SpongeBob, and that'll be the day when we see Squidward get too mad. Then he'll be completely snapped. Whenever Squidward normally can't handle something, he becomes carefree and laughs crazy like SpongeBob, going virtually insane. Does this apply that this whole time, SpongeBob is actually the psychotic one, driven past annoyance and rage into a complete snap? That's for another video. This was so much fun to make, and so interesting. Until next time, I'm the Theorizer.
Okay, now that sounds like a complete and total stretch. Like, I get why people would say that, but it also doesn't make sense. Okay, I get why he says that, but maybe it's not as complicated as we think. From the Alex Bale theory, we heard that that Patrick only acts this way mainly because of the whole thing involving something that Plankton made that he just the whole brain coral thing is it probably just robot parts or whatever. Maybe it's a mixture of both. This theory and Alex Bale's theory. What happens if Patrick isn't like having multiple personality disorder? But what happens if he's versing an AI personality that just keeps changing and adapting? Honestly, that sounds even more insane and more horrifying. But it also would make sense. Because it gives off that feeling, and I can't help but not ignore it, since that does seem like a possibility. What if the brain coral that SpongeBob put in is just like conflicting with Patrick's original personality? And because of this bit, it leads to the whole conflicting thing where it leads to Patrick being like the way he is. Like everything about Patrick is like uh up against this one personality that's basically AI. Because in all honesty, that does sound like a thing that could happen. Yeah, it does give off that indication, does it? Would that be true though? That's something to really think about in all honesty. But yeah, with that said though, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I believe that this theory is like a mixture Pat of Alex Bales and the theorizer, because it makes sense that the two mix would lead to this kind of result. But if I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong. No harm said or done, really. But it does lead to that interesting thought process that I can't ignore. Would that be the case? Anyway, though, hope you all enjoy. As I said, hit the like button if you did enjoy the video, subscribe, comment, and so on and so forth. And I'll see y'all next time. Right now, I'm gonna really contemplate this theory, because I believe that the two theories of Alex Bale, like the theorizer, is correct. If you, I'm just trying to figure out how they could like mix. But yeah, until next time, everyone. Bye.